Welcome to the Reflection Show. My name is Ramsey Rizard. You never go to the mirror scripted, you always go unscripted. And you know, I always like to bring, let me tell you, some incredible stories that I believe is going to cause you to be inspired, it's going to impact you, but also influence you in a positive way that's going to bring hope in your towards your destiny. So today I got the one and only. He is an artist. He is a creator, from fashion to art to painting. The one and only Dakoro.
How you doing, brother?
How you doing, Dakoro?
I'm good, man. Good.
It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you for having me here.
I like the Dakoro live you got going on.
Yeah. Everything is like a walking inspiration. Everything that I put on, even being here, is definitely inspiring.
In what way?
In a manner of getting to engage somebody of your magnitude, of your professionalism, but most importantly, the way that you dive into trying to nurture other people's plight in their direction. So,
well, you know, life is like a blank canvas, right?
No doubt.
We're given the paintbrush.
Right.
Our decision helps us to draw out what we're trying to picture or bring forth towards this reality.
Right.
And it's our job to find the people to bring the color. Right. It's a great way of defining how we want our lives to be.
It's a wonderful voice without even speaking.
Woo! Say it again.
A wonderful voice without even speaking.
I can already tell you are a man of wisdom.
I have my moments.
But isn't that all of us, though?
Yeah.
Isn't that all of us as creatives? We have a moment where we're just constantly just thinking.
Well, if you're in the moment, then that moment essentially becomes a memory. If you're present, you know. So all we have is right now, what we're engaging in right now, that makes the biggest impact. And then what we do with it, even like with the artwork. If I engage or learn something, then I feel like it's my responsibility to try to pass that off to somebody else. You never know who's going to need that gem.
Well, I mean, if you're not here to serve, to give, why are you here? Right?
It's a good question.
It's like we weren't born to just take.
Right.
Right? I don't like people who take. I don't like takers.
Right.
I love givers.
Okay.
Right?
Those are the ones that make the biggest difference.
It is. Because it's better to give than to receive.
Your cup will never be full.
Never.
You know,
so let's talk about your journey, Dakoro.
What part you want to talk about?
Number one, your name is very unique.
Thank you.
What is the meaning behind your name?
It's Swahili. It means firstborn, born in light and firstborn son.
Wow.
Yeah. Which is that's a journey within itself, because growing up it was very different, very unique, of course, and I've always had the gap in my teeth, you know, so. No kid really wants to be that, wants to stand out that much.
Right.
So, but I grew into the name because of its uniqueness and because I found a way to, again, speak without my verbal voice as far as doing artwork. And now, even now, a lot of people ask me, is that your real name or is that your art name?
Wow.
And that's
your real name.
Real name.
I mean, your name sound like it's an art name, meaning that we all, whenever we fall into a place of discovering our creativity, we're always creating a name outside of our name. Right. You can be Ramsey, but somebody call you Rambo. You know. But your name stands alone with the brand that you carry on this earth today.
Yes, sir.
So, when you were talking earlier, I felt as though I went into a vision where, as a child, you didn't express yourself by speaking, you expressed yourself by drawing.
I did. My household was very open to communicating. I just wasn't in a place where I knew how to effectively communicate. So what began is I would sketch and draw, and I come from a large family, so there may be 20 people at our home, but while I'm sketching and drawing, everything disappears. Everybody disappears. And it's like I'm there by myself. And even when I'm doing the live paintings now, whether it be in front of 10 people or 5,000 people, once I get into that zone, everybody disappears. But what happens is I'm taking in bits and pieces of the environment. I'm taking in different scents. I'm taking in who has the loud tone over here, who has the quiet tone over here. And I'm putting that into the artwork. And that is what I try to express. Me by myself, I have my approach, but the whole environment becomes a part of the work.
Say it again. Me by myself, I have an approach, but the what?
The environment becomes a part of the artwork. So from the noises, from what you smell, from all of the senses, I pick up on that. Even though I'm not interrupted by anyone, I
Yeah.
pick up on all of that, and that goes into the artwork.
I love it because I read a book called Writing Better Lyrics, and it talks about abstract and concrete
Okay.
and being able to marry the two. So abstract, right, and concrete, things that are physical and things that are unseen, right? Your senses, right? Taste, smell, all that, right? It's amazing how you define that whole process, because you as an artist, you have to be zoned out. You have to
Right,
fall
right.
into a state to where you can absorb all of your energy of what you're starting to envision of creating. How long does it normally take you to do a live painting?
It depends. I usually give myself about an hour, but I
Okay.
can actually finish it in about 10, 15 minutes. But I extend it out to an hour so that when people are looking at me, they don't know what direction I'm going in. So there's that intrigue of, it doesn't look good. What is he doing with this? And then when they start to see the layers start to be
Right.
produced and they see the finished piece, I basically walk them through my process of creating.
That's wow.
It's exciting.
And people will look at you like you're an introvert, but then really you're an extrovert in your art. Your art speaks a language that everybody can understand if they take the time out to study. Like you.
Exactly.
It's people would understand who you are if they take the time out to get to know who you are. That's why I'm blessed to have you in the chair today.
No, my pleasure.
because
Thank you.
your story.
Right. And I'm also a master barber. So I'm used to people coming and going every day for the past 25 years. So I actually put my entire clientele onto artwork. So those that would have never looked at art before, now they're interested in it.
Because I've always wondered, Dakoro, I've always wondered, why is it when I go to a live auction event, a fundraiser, you got people spending $5,000 to $10,000 on a painting? But then when you think about the time and the effort it takes for the artist to create something specific that you'll never see anywhere, then you understand why it's worth that value.
And the business side of it is the art is going to appreciate 10% every year. So you're actually making an investment into your financial portfolio also. So
Wait, explain that part to me, because I'm pretty sure somebody who's watching, they're trying to understand that part too. Because you
Okay.
probably brought me into a whole new world of business.
okay, well, let's say everybody's heard of Jean-Michel Basquiat, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, in the 70s, he did a painting that sold for $2,000. Maybe, and he had a very short, well, his life was kind of short, so he passed in the early 80s. And then that same painting sold for $19,000. And he's not here anymore to create any more work, so the value automatically goes up. That same painting, I think, sold in 2018 or 19 for 105 million.
From $2,000 to 105 what?
Million. So I love when artists say, support artists that are still alive, the dead ones don't need the money. And that's when you find an artist that has a style that you appreciate, that you can put in your home, in your office, your business, and the texture, the color, the content resonates with you.
Yeah.
It's great to keep following that artist, especially if they're serious about their career, because they're going to continue to get better. They're going to continue to grow. And you're actually buying bits and pieces of their life, how they've chosen to, what's the word? Their perception of what the world is at the time.
So for you, like, when you knew you were going into the business, who became your mentor and why?
Well, it's kind of funny because I've been drawing since I was 4 years old.
Wow.
It's always been like therapy for me. And it wasn't until 2012 when I decided to actually put my work out there in public, out here in Atlanta. I had won awards and stuff like that back in Syracuse, New York, but I finally got to a point where I just asked God, like, what do you want me to do with this? And he said, keep painting. And I kept painting, and I did 7 paintings, and they won me a great award back in 2012 in which I was rated one of the top abstract artists in the nation. And that led to having an artwork placed on TV and different things like
Wait,
that.
say that again. In 2020, you were the top.
2012.
In 2012,
I was rated as one of the top abstract artists in the nation.
one
Yeah.
of the top abstract artists
Yeah.
in the nation.
You're making me relive it. I guess that is a great feat, right?
Think about that.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, your paintings have value.
Yes.
Even while you're living,
Mm-hmm.
you're able to see the blessing in your pain.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I say pain is because it took a lot out of you to create something as powerful as that artwork.
It does. And I get a lot of enjoyment when someone purchases one of my works of art. And I tell them, give yourself about 4 or 5 months to really sit down, relax, and look at the painting. And I get the call, oh, D, I finally see it. And they may see something that I didn't even intentionally put in there, but the energy is in there. So they're pulling something out that means something to them, you know? So, and then on top of that, I used to do a lot of portraits, and I stopped doing those because it started getting emotional. Like I had to do 2 portraits of these 2 young boys that both ended up passing of cancer. And both of these families, I knew both the mother and the father. And when I gave them the portraits of their kids back, but I didn't paint them as they were. I painted them as if they had aged maybe 7 or 8 years. And after that one, I kind of slowed down on doing the portraits because the mother said, thank you for giving me my son back. And that's heavy. You know what I'm saying? So he was 12 years old, you know, so.
Dakoro, just think about what you just said. You advanced the age of a child who died, and a mother came to you and said, thank you for giving me my son back.
Right.
You gave her an opportunity to visualize down the line of what her son could have looked like.
Yeah. And that took a lot out of me. I'm sure I was definitely grateful for her responding that way, but that took so much out of me to
Did you cry
create.
when you were creating that masterpiece?
I was emotional for them because he was also one of my barber clients. I had been cutting his hair since he was born, you know, so it wasn't more of like a sorrow. It was just like he put up a good fight all the way through. I never seen him cry. So yeah, but it was emotional. But that is what I put into my artwork. Every piece that I create, it's for, whether it be yourself or somebody else, what is it that you might enjoy from this painting? And depending on where you want to put it at, in your bedroom or in your living room where guests can see it, or you want to keep it to yourself. And that's the part of the process that I go into, like what would make you get something out of it?
And with that being said, like, what was your favorite art piece that you've drawn till this day that you still have fallen in love with?
It's called Am I Still Your Child?
Why?
Because it's a dual abstract portrait of a young boy, but his features are aged like an older man. And he has his hand up as if he's about to smoke something. But the content of it is, no matter what I go through in life, your parents should never turn their back on you. But every now and then, that kid that grows older into that man and may have had a little difficult is going to come, am I still your child? And sometimes that's all the love that you need to keep going.
Is that what you felt as a child growing up? Or is that a story that you saw like out in the public?
It's pretty much all observations. Like, I would do some wild stuff sometimes, man. And it wasn't like I was injecting myself into these experiences, but just sitting back, observing, paying attention. And I would say, I wonder what's going through their head. I wonder what they're thinking. I wonder, why does that person stand that way and this person stands that way? You know, things like that. So, and again, coming from a big family, I've never really met a stranger. There's over 200 of us on my mother's side, so going out to the public, it's no, but yeah, all observation for the most part. I do have some.
And how does your family inspire you as an artist to create?
They love it. They love it. They definitely support me a great deal. And now they support me in the manner of the younger kids in the family, they all come through me for learning techniques and things like that. And my mother, she was a sculptor. You know, that's one of my most prized possessions to this day. My father was a writer and a chef, you know, and I have a bunch of talent in my family, so we kind of bounce off each other.
Yeah, that's amazing, man. You know, there are so many different ways we create.
Right.
Some do music.
Right.
Some do movies.
Right.
Fashion, clothes,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Cutting hair,
Mm-hmm.
food, being a chef,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Interior designer,
Mm-hmm.
right? We can go on and on and on.
Mm-hmm.
But you have a gift that take colors and it draws a story beyond the capacity of what the eyes can understand until
Right.
they can really sit with it
Right.
and hear pretty much what the drawing itself is explaining to them. Because I've been in places where I'm looking at a picture and sometimes it's not when I'm standing still, I'm able to really hear what the painting is saying.
Mm-hmm.
So for you in your career, you apply other opportunities for people to learn how to draw. Why did you want to take that journey?
I took that journey because it's a real outlet for any and everybody.
Mentally, emotionally?
Both. Mentally, let's see. I taught a class one time in which there were about 12 adults, and I switched the music up. There were 5 different songs that we went through. Each song was a different tempo. Each song required a different color, but I didn't tell them what to do. At the end of that session, they had released so much because the music has an emotional attachment to you, whether it be house music or an Aretha Franklin song or a John Coltrane piece.
Right.
You have an attachment to that. Then the colors have an attachment. You know, just because you're using the color red doesn't mean you're going to draw a heart.
Wow, that's good.
You know?
I like that. Just because you use the color red doesn't mean that you're gonna draw a heart.
Right. And so that journey is just like I told, like for me, growing up with artwork was therapy. I know how it helped me. And what I do with people is, you don't have to be an artist, not one bit. So what we do is we mess the canvas up in the beginning. And then I say, look, it can't get no worse than that. Immediately, you find a little comfort.
So it's almost like turning a mess into a message.
Exactly. Exactly. So like, what does the color red mean to you? Again, just because you use red don't mean you have to draw a heart. You can draw a rose, you know, or it can remind you of an injury that you once had in which, you know.
Yeah.
And so that's the journey. I love it.
Now there's certain brands you use as an artist. Why do you choose to use these brands, and what value does it bring to your painting?
I pretty much just use all oils right now. Oils can be very difficult to work with, and I like it because it taught me how to be patient all over again. It taught me, so when I got into the business of it and I got into having to produce paintings for TV shows and stuff like that in 24 hours, you have to learn how to manipulate that canvas and that paint, and that put me into a rush. They need a 36 by 48 in 24 hours completed, ready to hang. Whereas now, I focus on maybe 5 or 6 paintings at a time, and one painting may take 8 months. So I can't rush that process because I want to add later. So some of the brands that I use, they are a little more expensive, but you get what you pay for. You can tell the difference between an acrylic painting with the little containers that cost 99 cents or a oil that may cost $56 for 12 ounces. You see the difference, you know, in your quality. So.
And for you, so let's because I want to get into this part here that I feel like is a game changer in your world, like, because yeah, you're an artist, yeah, you are a creator, but then you're also a human being.
For sure.
individual. You have kids?
2.
2 kids. And I know in your life, your desire is to always make sure that your kids' life are pivoted to understand that they have their own path to choose from for their destiny. What inspires you every day as a father, as a man, as a brother, as a friend, to pursue what you do at 1,000%? What inspires you?
Well, my wife, my kids, for sure. My sense of, I don't really even know if I really got started yet as an artist. I still feel like I'm approaching who I really are going to become as an artist.
Really?
That is a good challenge to me. My son, he draws now at 12 years old, and I watched him progress from holding the pencil a certain kind of way to now his shading, everything is awesome. And our daughter, who's 2, she's already taught 10 online art classes with me.
Wow.
Right. So today was show and tell at her learning facility, and the first thing she grabbed to show and tell at the facility was a paintbrush.
Wow.
You know, so I'm going back through my childhood, kind of through them, and like, what are they observing? What are they, and am I doing enough to keep them open-minded to the possibilities of being a creative? Not necessarily an artist, but being a creative and producing something, or even in your analytical skills, the way that you think. So that inspires me every day. And I know when I'm going a little bit too far, because my mother would call me and be like, babe, I think you're using a little bit too much black. And so I'm still trying to describe to her, like, black to me is like, remember we used to color and you outline the thing in black?
Right.
Yeah, but it's not as defining to her no more. It's like, what you going through, baby? What's you know, so. And then just being able to visually influence the way people look at artwork and how they feel about a body of work, that's always an inspiration to me,
And
every day.
For your wife, how does your wife support you, and what makes you so proud to have the wife that you have?
She's awesome. She's awesome. She supports me every step of the way. Even on the way here, she said, babe, I watched some of the footage. She's like, you're about to have a good interview. It's going to be great. You know?
What's your wife's name?
Akeisha.
Thank you, Keisha. Thank you, Keisha.
Yeah, so it's beautiful, man. It's beautiful. I have no regrets, and I'm looking forward to opening up another art gallery so that I can have that location where you can feel, as soon as you walk through the door, you feel like you're a part of a movement. You feel like you're safe. You feel like you're in a space that is conducive for all types of creativity.
Yeah.
You know, so.
And there's difficulties in starting a business, and there's difficulties becoming a professional artist.
Right.
What are some advice could you give somebody who want to come into this career and they have the passion, they have the skill, they have the desire, but yet they have a double-minded way of thinking?
I would say, like a gentleman said to me about 20 years ago, do 50% of the artwork for yourself and do 50% for the market. You never really know what market you're going to fall into, but there's so many different types of work. But in order for you not to lose yourself, always be working on something for yourself.
Say that again, looking at.
Always be working on something for yourself, and then doing the other part for the market or for your niche or for your, the people that you're looking to get support from.
Because you've been surviving in this game for a very long time.
Yeah.
And of course, fashion is something that you're a part of as well. You're wearing the live with the E backward. You're wearing believe, see, feel, touch, hear.
Right.
Tell me more about the fashion that you have on today, and why did you choose to create this here?
It's inspirational for me personally. It's inspirational. It's been a pretty tough 2024, and so these are things that I actually, live by. You have to believe in yourself first. So even like what we teach our kids, you look in that mirror and say, "I love myself." I just happen to wear the phrase on me so that if somebody's not having a great of a day, they may come across this phrase in passing, and it may stick with them. They never know how that's going to alter the rest of the day. It might just pick them up. They might look at the sun a little bit different. you know, things like that. So the fashion line is pretty much motivational quotes or renditions of some of my original paintings. Yeah, it's very inspirational.
You thought about something. What did you think about?
I
You
thought
looked away
about-
and you thought about something. I
Yeah.
saw it. You sat there for a second,
Yeah.
and it dawned on you. What was that?
It made me think of my younger brother, who's he's over the 9th and North, New York, and I remember I put him on to creating T-shirts maybe 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And that's what I just thought about. Like, he's really done a great job with it.
Wow.
Like, he took it and ran, and it has been able to provide for him and his family. And that's something where I was able to give him some information
Come on.
and pour it into him, and he took it and ran. So that's what I just thought about. Like, wow, we've been doing all right. But I'm super proud of him.
That's amazing because, you know, and that's what I love about this platform, right? It's the reflection show, right? Being able to sit and reflect and have a conversation.
Right.
And if it comes to mind, you're able to express that because tomorrow's not promised,
Sure did.
right? We always go to somebody's funeral and somebody else is reading
Right.
our story. We never get a chance for that person to hear us while we're live,
Right.
to speak about the things that's really in our heart.
Sure
and I'm
did.
pretty sure your brother is appreciating that right there because
Yeah, definitely.
you helped change the whole generation by inspiring him to pursue something
Yeah.
that he probably didn't see on the blind side.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And just to add, not to leave my sister out of it, but I've been a master barber for years, and now she's a master cosmetologist.
Come on,
You know what I'm
dude.
saying? And I got them both writing ebooks now. You
Come
know,
on.
So
And what are you most proud of about your wife?
wow, there's so many things. I think with my wife, she has learned how to live and love a creative. Because it's not easy, man.
It's not.
It's not easy. And she accepts me for who I am. She supports me, and you know, she just, and she gave me my kids too. You know, so. But she's thorough. She's very thorough. She dots all the I's and crosses all the T's, and she makes sure that we each are doing our best every day. And in turn, I try to offer her the same thing.
If there was a painting that you could draw right now of your wife to describe her, what would that painting be?
I can give you the painting and a song. It would be a yellow canary bird sitting on top of a bed of flowers, well, hovering over a bed of colorful flowers.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
over a bed of colorful flowers.
And
then
I'm pretty sure she's smiling right now.
and like in the background, it would just be like a clear blue sky that just goes for as far as the eye can see. You know.
And what do you, and this is the part I like right here because let's say your children are 18 now and they're going back to listen to their father speak. What would you be most proud of their journey at the age of 18 from what you see now as they develop?
That they didn't take life too seriously, made some good decisions, good choices, and no matter what direction they're going in life, they know that they are incredibly loved by their parents and the surrounding families, and even the extension of the friends. They are both very intelligent young people, even right now that we see, and they have picked up on what me and my wife try to instill in them and introduce them to, and they respond to it. They may not respond immediately, but you see it come back out. So I think at 18 years old, I think they'll be pleased with my efforts, my wife's efforts, and I think that they will more than likely become very good citizens, humble community servants, people that give back, people that pour into others, and you know, just filled with love.
And for your community at the barbershop, what would you like to say to the fellas and the young ladies that are in there cutting hair How do they change? How do they impact your life, and how do they change your world as an artist to be the best creator that you are today?
There is no conversation that we will not have, rather it be during the day when clients are in there and the clients come in and we're listening to them and we're able to give them something to keep going off of, like we're kind of orchestrating the conversations. And after hours, when it's just us in there, we know about each other's lives. We know about each other's ups and downs. And so we really are not just co-workers, we're more of like a family.
Right.
So thank you guys over there, Who's Next Barbershop. You know, we're doing a great job. We got a lot of work to do, but people do come into us and they get fed.
Wow.
And the crazy thing, man, is that the past couple of years, we have some people that come into the barbershop and don't even get haircuts.
They just come have a conversation.
Just come sit down and talk.
See, but that's where your inspiration of art comes, because you get to take unique words from each conversation, and as you're driving home in silence, or you're walking home in silence, in whatever direction you go, you have a chance to really reflect on the conversation that really helps you to feel emotionally where you are.
Exactly.
And that inspires, because yet words are unseen, they're powerful.
Right. And when it's like, when you replay those interactions, I'm like, if they felt this way, I wonder how many other people feel this way.
Wow.
And then I started putting the pieces of the puzzle. If they felt this way because of this experience, and this experience seems to be kind of broad, I wonder who else is feeling that way. So I could take a body of people and say, how do I create something for them to either dive more into that feeling and how to get up out of it, and then how to talk about it to somebody else that might be going through it. You know,
I like that. It's a process you've created, and you understand the nature of your way of thinking.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that, because we all have a different way of thinking. With that being said, Dakoro, there is somebody on the other side of that mirror right there watching you. It's a younger version of yourself. Somebody who wants to be inspired, somebody who wants to be impacted, somebody who's like, please give me the right words of advice to influence me in the right direction. As you look into that mirror right there, what would you like to tell that person, that younger Dakoro, your son, your daughter, your wife who's still dreaming and believing of the things that she's able to do? What would you like to tell that person right there looking in that mirror?
I would say, love yourself first and trust God every day. If you don't know what direction you're going in, ask Him for that direction. Sit back and be silent. Love yourself first.
Love yourself first and trust God in the process. You heard it from the one and only, the celebrity artist, creator, Dakoro himself, live right here, The Reflection Show. I'm Ramsey Rizard. Listen, thank you so much for watching, and remember, your experience matters.
So it burns like a fire.